Gonna get a little risque with this one today. Show some knee, but I just wanted to show you guys one part of what I have to do here, getting this small nursery business up and running. It's kind of a little bit of a Zen practice. You get in a little bit of a flow state, but that is up potting these seedlings. So I've done most of this tray, and you can see some plants still over here. I've probably got like a fifth of this tray left to do. This whole thing was covered in little seedlings about that big, and been plucking them out of here with my chopsticks and putting them into these pots that I filled with soil that I have mixed myself. So this is a decent bit of pine bark fines. It's mostly pine bark fines, a little bit of sand, good bit of compost, and some slow release fertilizer. And so I mix that in a cement mixer, and then I do this whole thing in this cement mixing tray. I have another one that I carry the pots around in. So lots of cement mixing equipment's involved here. But I will try to get close-up shots and show you guys. What I do is I'll get in here and I'll pry out a chunk of this, several plants that all have their roots sort of entwined together, and then I'll put that chunk in this tray, work it apart, gently releasing the roots from each other, and then I will put that resulting individual plants into these pots, set them over here, and try to get them watered as quickly as possible, and then get them labeled as quickly as possible. As you can see, all those little pots behind me are. So yeah, I'm just gonna get started. I'll try to get close-up shots as I can, and then I'll just try to, like I said, get into that flow state, finish out this tray. I don't know, there may be 30, 40 plants in there if I'm lucky. Here we go. This plant, by the way, is Chopsticks mariana. This is Maryland golden aster. It's a sort of short-lived perennial. I think they live 3 to 5 years-ish. Sort of a rosette of leaves on the ground that later in the summer sends up this big flower spike with a huge inflorescence of sort of medium-sized yellow flowers in the Asteraceae family. This soil is a little bit crusty, and it's making it a little bit difficult, so I'm going to get the sprayer right now, wet everything down. Hopefully that'll make it a little easier to work with. There we go. And by the way, this this soil that I am using to germinate these little seedlings looks like it is mostly sand, I'm sure. That's because it's mostly sand. It is like 70% sand, 30% compost. And that was a soil mixture that I used to start plants for a while. Obviously, these were sort of seeded last year during the fall, and they sat in this tray over winter outside. I have since revised my seed starting mixture to be mostly pine bark fine based, and that works better for germinating the plants. They like it better, but it is harder, it seems, to separate them and pull their little roots out. Like this sand, I'm having trouble right now because now I've made this blob too wet, but the sand makes it very easy to pull their roots out, separate them, keep them, get them where they're not intertwined, and they seem to suffer really no transplant shock from this. So I was pretty happy with the sand method, but the plants weren't as happy with it. But it made this process easier on me and easier on them. So we'll see how it goes. Switching over to the new method, or the new mixture. Got a lot of these these like super tiny guys in here. If they have even one adult leaf on them, I will typically transplant them. This is another problem that I had with this sand mixture, was that the plants were running out of nutrients. And I need to get them out of the sand mixture before they start to have health problems. That one is super tiny. That is a super tiny little guy. There's like nothing to him. Yeah, I have to get them out of the sand mixture before they start to have nutrient deficiencies. But they're still very, very small. I would prefer to wait until the plants are a little bit more robust before doing this. Alright, let's see if we can get some more out of here. There's one guy on his own right there. You can use the chopsticks to sort of guide the roots down in the hole. I just like using these chopsticks. This is a pretty easy system. You can use it to break them off from the seed starting mixture. You can use it to kind of jiggle the root mass around, and that helps separate them. You can make the hole in the media for it, and then you can use it to cover it up, tamp it down, settle those roots in. Works really well for me. It's easy to be gentle with all these little roots. I don't know if you can see the roots there, and that's a few plants. Looks like maybe 3 plants. So all those roots are entangled. And then with the chopsticks, it's quite easy to get between them. Give it a little jiggle, like so, and end up with a very clean little seedling right there. This super tiny little guy here. Very small, just one little root coming down. If you don't traumatize them, they will survive, even being transplanted that young. Just have to get them in the soil, get them watered pretty much immediately, and then consistently water them for a while. This year, I have a near 100% success rate in uppotting like this. I have about 250 to 270 plants behind me in 4-inch pots. And I think only 1 or 2 of them look like they might not make it. Tiny, tiny little plant, massive root system. That's good. Put them in here. We actually have some nutrients. You can make use of that root system. Become a not tiny plant. Yeah, see, here's an example where we got 2 plants fighting over the same clump of compost there, and so I have to kind of separate them, do a little bit of surgery, try to break that compost clump apart. That's the kind of thing that slows you down if you're trying to do stuff at scale, which I guess I'm trying to do it at sort of moderate scale. I would like to sell a couple thousand plants this year, would be ideal. Oh, I need to go get some more pots. Okay. You have to move very fast when you do something like that. I left all my filled pots down there because I don't normally do this here. It's just this is a better place to film it. So my flow is a little messed up. I just had to run. Now I'm out of breath. You can hear how old I am. And yeah, if you do that sort of thing, you got to be aware that these plants can't be left with their roots all exposed like this, just hanging out in the dry air and in the sun for very long. That's what's going to hurt them. Another little technique for when you have these extremely small plants, like this one is quite small, is you pick them up like little rice with your chopsticks. And then you can hold those in a hole that you've already made with your finger or your chopsticks and hold them right at the surface level so they don't drop in. And then just kind of pinch that hole closed around them so you can use the chopsticks to set them in. Alright, this is my last pot, so let me see if I can find one individual straggler. And there's one there, but it's barely germinated. Only big ones. The only big ones left are in this tight clump, and I don't really want to disturb it. Ah well, tiny straggler. You're going in. Plant you right there, tiny straggler. Count the Chrysops, Mariana. Yeah, I'm probably gonna edit that out. Alright, anyway, there we go. Last one of the pots that I have enough soil blended for right now anyway. My cement mixer can blend enough soil for 33 of these 4-inch pots. And so that's what I have. I actually should go blend another batch and just try to finish this up, but may or may not show you that. We'll see. My blender is a cement mixer from Harbor Freight. It's hideous, it's loud. I had to move it to the other side of the house recently because I'm sure it's annoying to the neighbors, even though they're very nice people and they said it wasn't.